Right, guys. So we are live today on going Facebook Direct. I'm trying to do something different with everything, and that is the conversation that we're having when it comes to how are you putting your online presence out into the marketplace. Now, I know that social media has been a major building point for real estate agents over the last 7 or 8 years, and it has become relevant through all different platforms, places like TikTok, places like Instagram, and even for those old folk, places like Facebook. But the truth of the reality is that oftentimes it's used as a sounding board, sometimes more than it can actually be used as a actual business tactic. So first off, if you are going to talk about personal items or other features, you need to make sure that there's some delineation between you and your business when it comes down to the category of how you're trying to grow, unless you're actually trying to create that presence that keeps your own personal opinions in the public eye. So these are questions you need to ask, and having a designated plan of how you're going to be successful with these things will make you more successful through the process. And a lot of times we plan on, I have a business partner that his entire focus falls down to how many views he's actually receiving. The downside to actually just focusing on views and not seeing where maybe other things are starting to happen for you, places like your web page or visits to your web page or longevity of visits to your web page from places like Facebook or other social media resources. These are other things that you need to be paying attention to. So how are you going to identify that? Places like Google Analytics is a great starting point, or Facebook business page is another environment that you can identify where click-throughs are happening, what people are staying on and looking at the longest period of time. And these are great places to kind of view, is the content that you're putting out there, one, relevant, and two, are people actually watching it for long periods of time? So that simple conversation also comes down to, should you spread that content across multiple platforms? For instance, this broadcast goes live to about 8 different areas. So those 8 different areas, are those going to be productive for us? The question is, when I lump them all together, it is productive, but in each environment, I'm only getting a few views per. But when all added up, then it actually becomes relevant. So that's the environment that I've chosen. But some people take the content that they record and then they break it up for different places. So they'll take that content and they'll put it on Instagram Reels. They'll take that content, they'll put it on Facebook or YouTube in longer format. So these are places that we need to identify. But what this all comes down to is your online presence is very relevant today, even if it's just an environment where people can find you. So make sure that you're giving it its due time and due diligence in how you're creating digital content. I am not saying by any means that mine is the most relevant or that I have it all worked out. My point is that I'm spending time and energy figuring out how things work. And that's what I ask each of you as real estate agents to do through your business, because the whole point is that if I can change or tweak just a few items, how much more success am I going to have in that digital environment? I will give you a for instance, and then I'll leave you for, if you have any questions, you can reach back out to me and ask specifics. But one of the things that we're doing recently is we're geotagging our photos that we're posting into Google Business Page. Now, the benefit here is that by geotagging those photos, they're popping up in other platforms such as Google Maps. And this gives us an environment that now we can post out more relevant content and draw in more relevant views on that content. So one simple platform looking at a different avenue to approach it gave us, just over the weekend, an additional 300 views on our website. These are great, powerful features if you pay attention to them. But once again, this is like all other facets of our business. If we don't pay attention to it and if we don't give it its due time, we'll lose out on the opportunities that it's affording us. Guys, remember, all this comes down to, you need to focus on what you want to focus on and take out everything else. And don't always pay attention to the major metrics, things like views or likes or interactions. You may still be relevant in the marketplace if you just pay attention to all the other details that are happening on the background. But remember, they are on the background, so you have to actually take time to look at them. Guys, thank you for tuning in. I hope this was relevant. If you have any specific questions on your own personal platforms, whether that be social media or any other resource, reach out to me directly, 915-256-6989, or you can find us on all those social media platforms at the Brian Burns Home Selling Team. We we appreciate you and we appreciate you tuning in. Remember, we have other series that are going on as well with Tea with Andrew on Wednesdays at Mountain Time, 3 o'clock, or we have Kent and Andrew teaching a fundamentals class on Thursdays at 2 o'clock, both in all the platforms that you're watching this currently. So thank you guys for tuning in and continue to do so. Have a great day.